สนับสนุนโดยกรุงเทพประกันภัยให้คุณเต็มกว่าทั้งความคุ้มครองและใจมากกว่าการให้มากกว่าความผูกพันความรู้สึกดีๆที่มีให้กันทุกวันเปปทีนของขวัญที่ส่งถึงกันได้ทุกวันกิฟฟรีน Gifts for Life เรารู้จักเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้ดีกว่าใครธนาคาร CIMB ไทยรุดหน้าสู่อนาคต
So you must be worried about Obama's economic policy.
Yeah.
All this,
That I have been for a long time.
The financial crisis. There's so much in debt and printing money like mad. And then you see China.
Money isn't even the problem. Problem has been, I think, Obama's economic policy has been not sufficiently distancing himself from the failed policies of the financial elite of the past. And in some ways, that allowed the movement like Tea Party to come in.
Yes.
Because Obama came in as an anti-establishment candidate.
Right. Change.
But so, well, internationally, he changed the world for America much better. There's no question. America is not the kind of pariah it used to be earlier. But domestically, they will find some way of dealing with it. But at the moment, they're still groping. And they haven't got.
But he won't get a second term.
Well, these are very early days.
Early? Halfway through.
No, but 2 years is a long time in politics. Yeah.
China, India, you're not worried about whether they're too close or whether they are going to fight another war?
Oh, I don't think they're going to fight another war. I don't think it's in anyone's mind, actually.
No, but no. Do you think
I don't think anyone is. I think one thing that's quite clear. People don't like fighting wars.
What do you see China and India in the next 5 years? What kind of relationship?
Well, I think the relation, the present, when visit was a good visit. And, it was interesting that they concentrated on trade, which the newspapers emphasized. But I think I'm often critical of newspapers when I'm criticized this morning reading the Herald Tribune.
Yeah.
I think they missed something, which is the New York Times report, actually.
Yeah.
That is, they said it was only trade was discussed, nothing was achieved. Well, first of all, they agreed to establish a hotline. Well, that's a very big thing. Both are nuclear power.
Yes.
Pakistan and China are very close. The hotline is extremely important for India. If something is about to blow, to warn India that, to do something about it. Similarly, the Chinese issue. The Chinese are also worried. They're worried about the volatility of the Middle East and the extremists coming in. So I think that's a big step. The fact that Wen came and did all the right noises.
Yep.
When he was teaching calligraphy, he taught them Chinese and Indians are old friends. All that. I think this is a good way of thinking. At the individual level, there's a lot of connection. I go to Peking University regularly. I'm still chair of the International Advisory Board of Peking University's Center for Economic and Human Development. Try to go there once a year to meet there. I'm a member of the Chinese International Poverty Removal Institute. I'm one of the principal advisors of that.
So you're not considered an Indian when you go to China. You're an international intellectual, you see. You are different from other Indians.
Taken me, I take it. Yeah, I wasn't there because I'm an Indian, but I'm there because I'm an economist.
You are Amartya Sen. You're not an Indian or American or anything.
Yeah, but I don't think, but the Chinese could have still said, this guy is in India.
Yeah, of course.
Therefore, he can't be at Peking University doing that.
What about Liu Xiaobo? You think China has overreacted?
On what?
On Liu Xiaobo being given the Nobel Prize for Peace this year.
I'm not going to comment on the Nobel thing. One of the things I determined after I got the Nobel myself, I do not comment on Nobel Prizes.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Because in economics, of course, it always raises the question, was that the right award?
Yes.
And then the moment you say it, then you get in the news, no, it wasn't the right award.
Right.
Etc. So I speak on hundreds of subjects.
Yes.
The fact that I don't speak on Nobel.
That's strange. To me, that's strange. Aren't you proud of being a Nobel laureate?
It's one of the prizes that exist.
Yeah.
Was I unhappy with it? No.
No.
Did it help me in some way? Yes, I started to. I started to trust with my money.
Yes.
One in Bangladesh, one in India.
Right.
I was a little shocked to find that in New York Times there's an article. It turns out that I'm the only economist
Yeah.
getting the Nobel who has ever given the money for any good cause.
No, but Liu Xiaobo's case involves human rights, democracy.
I'm a great believer in human rights in
Yes.
general.
Don't you think he deserves it?
I'm not going to. I don't know enough about his work to say whether he deserves it. That's exactly, is not the question that I'm able to answer. The point is that what would I have done if I were in China? Supposing I were running the Chinese government,
Yes.
and supposing I took the same view as them, that this person didn't deserve it,
Right.
and he's not a good thing.
Yep.
But what the Chinese did wasn't the right thing to do, I would have thought, because of the fact that they could have easily said, okay, we don't agree with his policy, but it's a Chinese citizen we have got the honor,
Yep.
and therefore, fine. But you see, that would have been a one-day story. Instead of that, this has become a continuing story.
So you think the
Empty chairs and so on. Commenting here on the management issue. I'm not commenting on the recipient of the prize.
Okay,
I don't
because
really-
you would have to comment on Obama getting it too if you were to comment
Exactly,
on...
exactly.
But what about Aung San Suu Kyi? She got Peace Prize, Nobel.
Listen, the fact that I admire Aung San Suu Kyi.
It's nothing to do with the
deeply,
Nobel Prize.
Nothing to do with Nobel.
But so you think the Chinese government has mishandled this
Well,
case?
look, I wouldn't go into mishandle. I said what I would have done if I were in that position.
Right, right.
But I don't run the Chinese government. Nor do you.
No.
So, I think there are things that on which I have things to say, which are where I know something.
Right.
But what would be intelligent thing to do by the Chinese government if I were Chinese government is too complicated a question for me.
But
I could say immediately what I would have done.
Yeah.
But is that what the Chinese government would have done? I don't know.
But if I were you, I would study Liu Xiaobo's history and the Nobel Prize committees.
Listen, if there's somebody whose work is being studied across the world,
Yes.
partly because of the Nobel
Yeah.
and partly because of the Chinese government's opposition,
Yeah.
is Liu.
That's right.
He does not need additional leadership. I salute every human rights worker in the world, and that includes Liu, obviously. In general, I think human rights need respecting. But going into whether this man deserved the Nobel over everybody else, whether Obama was the right person last time.
Yep.
Yeah, and that it seems
That's not you
it's
don't consider
not
that.
of great interest to me.
So my
I think-
conclusion is that you don't consider the Nobel Prize an intellectual problem,
well,
worthy of intellectual debate.
Well, you were absolutely determined to make me say something about the Nobel Prize. I'm not going to say anything about the
I
Nobel
know.